Hello. Hi. I'd like to thank Dr. Ali and his team for inviting me to stand here a few minutes before you have your Saturday night fun. So I'm going to try to make this as quick and painless as possible. My name is Jocelyn. I'm a practicing physical therapist at the inpatient rehab hospital. And as you can see, I am Chinese by origin. I was born in the Philippines, but I am American by choice. So I grew up in a Chinese family, and of course, if you have not known that Chinese people love to eat, a lot of food goes around. We celebrate life with food, and we like to feed our friends and family. So even when they come and mourn and give respect to the dead, we like to feed them as well. But then I was growing up in the Philippines, so I got the environmental influence of Filipinos having all their little snacks, the little tiny pieces of goodness made from rice and sugar, of course. But then the Philippines was also under Spanish rule for over 100 years. So that's your history lesson for today. And so we have the Spanish influence of the cocoa and eating it with churros as well. We also have the rice dishes of, the paella. And, we are a rice-eating culture. So we eat rice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If the language defines the culture, I remember growing up in my parents' home, when their friends came by the house, they were not greeted with, "Hey, how are you doing?" but "Have you eaten yet?" So it just tells you where the focus of everything was. I migrated to the US in 1981, and I found myself combining the East and Western cultures. And of course, every culture has its good and bad things, and sometimes when you combine the good and the bad, it turns ugly. And that's what happened to me. I mean, we saw the film last night, 1981, all these processed foods, refined sugars, and next thing I know it, I've gained 25 pounds. Now, when you're in your 20s or 30s, you could lose that real easily, but then it comes back plus more. And conventional medical advice was always, you just need to eat less, exercise more. And I like Dr. Assad's explanation about how you keep trying to do the same thing and expect a different result. That's crazy. And that was what happened. I'm a physical therapist. I know how many calories you're going to burn with certain activities. Hey, you want me to live in the gym in order for me to get rid of these pounds? So it didn't work. And I started noticing that my HbA1c was going up. To the point that I was 5.9, and I was a pre-diabetic, and it was just going to be a matter of years that I was going to be diabetic. I'm a physical therapist. Some of the people in the audience gasped when they saw the film last night with people where their limbs were literally falling off. We deal with that. We help them with the wound care. Then they go home. Then they come back because their diabetes is not controlled. They have a below-knee amputee. Then next year they come back for the above-knee amputee. And next year it's the next leg. So we in the medical profession or allied medical profession, we see that every day. And I said to myself, hey, I don't want to be a statistics. I mean, I don't want to become diabetic and wait till that happens to me. So my husband and I chanced into the 5-2 intermittent fasting. I'm sure the audience is more well knowledgeable about all these fasting. And I lost my weight, but my HbA1c would not go down below 5.7. And that's when he started about 3 years ago or maybe more. He knows all the speakers of this conference. He's listened to all of you, and he's tried to. I was actually a reluctant converter to the low carb because I love my rice, And so we slowly got into low carb. He knows all the speakers. I would name a name, and he knew what you were going to talk about. So that's how much he knows. So I have to thank my husband for getting me into the low carb, and we've been doing it for about 2.5 years. And, one thing that I noticed as a physical therapist when I review the patient's charts, I noticed that, hey, They all have hyperlipidemia. They're all on statins. So every doctor that wants to put me on statin, I'm like, I know all their side effects. So I don't want to be on statins. What else can I do? There really wasn't any advice. So we had to research it. And we found out that the commonality was that either they were insulin resistant, and that happened to me myself. Just that I didn't get the advice and be told that you're getting insulin resistant. I even had a fatty liver, and a nurse just asked me, how many drinks do you have a day? And I was real mad because I don't really drink. I'm very boring when I drink. I go to sleep. So, you know, there has to be something else. And my husband listened to all these very knowledgeable speakers and researchers, and we got on the low carb. And I'm very happy to say that my last HbA1c test was 5.0. Thank you. And all my, and actually we met Dr. Ali before, on the internet before I got to meet him personally as a patient. So he's ordered all my independent markers, anti-inflammatory markers. They're all good, so we're very pleased. And actually, my message is for the people that are on the fence about this. And what I can say is just that, you know, just do it and go low carb. You'll be pleasantly surprised. Thank you.